Oh, welcome to Baseball Biz On Deck. I am Mark Garbett, and with me, of course, is Mr. Matt Germain. And this week, we have a very special guest, and that's Mr. Nathan Andrews of Full Count Chaos. How you doing, Nathan?
Good. Appreciate having me on. It's been a lot of chaos being a Baltimore fan these past few months. So, yeah, definitely chaos.
Matt and I have been looking at the Orioles so much over the last year, and I think earlier, if it was 1 year ago today, I think that I would have been thinking Orioles, they're going to be in the playoffs. Maybe they'll be the AL East Beast. I don't know, but a young team, but none of that really kind of came to fruition, at least the way I was seeing it. Hey, Matt, what are you seeing today? What's going on, brother?
I think you're onto something when you're putting out the Orioles as part of the teams to watch for. Anytime you have a group of young players that didn't really have their best year, and then you inject as much talent as what they have this offseason, it speaks from the front office to the players and the fans as well, but to the players especially, that they believe in this group and they're ready to make a charge now. So I don't know what your thoughts on the entire offseason so far, because it's not done, Nathan is, but you have to be impressed with the commitment that they've made here.
Oh, 100%. And I think, it was frustrating for the fans because Mike Elias said a couple years ago, liftoff. And then his definition of liftoff seemed a little strange. Fans were going, wait, lift what off? So that was concerning, and I think that's why after 2025 season, Rubenstein, the owner, in the most polite way possible, came out and was like, I'm willing to spend all my money. That's all I want to say. In a polite way, he was kind of, read between the lines. This is on Mike, because I'm willing to spend the money. And then he just kind of left it at that, and I think Mike was like sitting there going, well, I guess that means it's up to me now, because Rubenstein's giving me his checkbook and telling me do what I need to do with it. So I think that had a lot to do with this off season. And Rubenstein got a little aggressive in his interviews as well about wanting to spend that money. So,
and you all did. I mean, one of the first big free agents to go, Mr. Pete Alonso.
I was so excited about that because when I heard he made basically stated after the season, like, no, I'm all ears, like, who's out there, I'm ready to hear what you got. I was stoked, but at the same time, I'm like, the Orioles are never in the mix with those big players, so I was shocked. That was a pleasant surprise. That was awesome.
But you had the previous, you go from the transition from Chris Davis and the bust that he was as a big first base signing to another first base signing that's one of their biggest commitments. So there is a little bit of that comparison that's going to take place over time and say, okay, where is this one going to hit? And I don't think there's any doubt in our minds that Pete Alonso is going to hit a lot of home runs.
Sure.
The question, I guess, will be, can he maintain the half-decent average and on base and everything else to go with it? But he was your second addition of the offseason. Actually, the Taylor Ward came up before that.
Yeah, that was
he's just as important as Pete, and a lot of people don't give him much credit.
No, he's got some punch in his bat. Like he really does. And I think in a weird way, I don't know if it overshadows, but he was involved in the Orioles getting rid of Grayson. So it's like there was more talk about, oh my God, the Orioles just got rid of Grayson Rodriguez, and why did the Angels get Grayson? So it's almost like in a way it kind of distracted from, talking about, like, the Orioles got a great player, Taylor Ward. Like, I'm excited. He's got great numbers. He's just a, veteran player. So that was, I got to say, that was a shock to me as well. It's been a weird offseason, but, we start talking about it. I start thinking like, yeah, that's right. Some weird stuff has happened, hasn't it? But yeah, I'm very excited to watch Taylor Ward. I think he's going to be a huge part to the Orioles, and the Orioles are looking for outfielders right now, which is ironic because a couple years ago, we thought we had our star outfield, but things change.
I do have to say though, and I think we spoke about this the last time you were on them, the whole departure of Anthony Santander and how much he meant to the team as a whole in terms of his presence, his veteran, his leadership. That's what they had been missing last year, a lot of people feel. So Taylor Ward seems like he's that kind of guy that'll come in and play a little bit of that role.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you subtract Grayson Rodriguez, and then you add Shane Baz, which is, I don't want to say he's a clone of Rodriguez,
Right.
but he's got a lot of the similar style of issues.
Injuries. We can.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
But they're not shoulder issues, right? Which is, I
Yeah,
think, what
sure.
scared off the Orioles with Grayson.
Yeah. Right. No, Shane Baz, I was excited about that as well. Of course, the Orioles fans, we have PTSD with Orioles pitchers and injuries, but no, Shane Baz is another great pickup. I'm excited about that. I just, talking about Grayson Rodriguez, I just think it was time. The Orioles are trying to win now, and there was a pattern with Grayson and his injuries. That's why I kind of laugh when we're talking Shane Baz and injuries, but I think he's going to be a great addition to the Orioles as well. And Mike Elias, I'm giving him a lot of props. I was hard on the guy for a long time, and lately I've been tipping my hat to him. He's doing what he needs to do right now, and I'm excited. This is fun watching this. Finally.
you've been an O's fan for some time, though. I mean, your family, your dad. Your dad was a pitcher in the O's organization, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was really crazy. He so long ago he played. There is a this is so random. Where we live in Baltimore, there's a I don't know what the right term is now. It's called Spring Grove Hospital. It's for people who I don't even know the correct terms these days, who are need a lot of medication, let's say that, and they should be indoors most of the time. We'll go with that. But what the reason I'm bringing that up is the Orioles were having tryouts at that. There's a baseball field in the back of that hospital.
Wow.
And the Orioles came out and they said, all right, just walk on tryouts. And it was about over 200 players, local players, pitchers and catchers. And 2 made it. They asked 2, and my dad was one of them. And he was 18 years old. And they called him the next day, and then he flew down to Virginia or West Virginia. But yeah, and then by 19, he was single A with the Orioles, and then he just worked his way up. He kind of bounced back and forth majors and minors, but it was just hearing how back in those days in the 70s when you were in low A, double A, it was like 8 guys sleeping in a shed, sharing mozzarella sticks to get by those days. It was really funny to hear how the minor leagues were back in the day. They didn't really take care of you like they do now. But anyway, sorry, make a long story short. Yes, he was involved. I obviously grew up pitching. I'm like, I'm going to play for the Orioles. Look at me go. But yeah, that was awesome. My dad, he had season tickets, and it was so funny. I remember like 30 years ago or 20 years ago, he lost. I guess back in those days, they didn't have it like in a computer, and he lost his season tickets, and he was so upset about that. But yeah, that was fun hearing all the stories about him growing up and playing for the Orioles.
Well, I mean, that had to be exciting. And I mean, it's obviously kind of carves a place in a child's life when their father is that involved with the game.
Mm-hmm.
That it kind of becomes part of them as well.
I know we played for the Orioles too. Whim Lehew, look him up. He was a sidearm pitcher. He pitched for the Orioles as well.
I love sidearm pitchers.
Yeah.
I know a while back I was doing research. I thought there was actually a Nathan Andrews who was born like 1913 who was a ball player too. I know it's amazing. Yeah, you're resplendent
I know,
out there.
It's funny looking at my dad. Somebody had stats. Someone took the time, that's how far back you can go in stats, of his minor league stats. It was the weirdest thing looking at that on some website page. I'm like, how in the hell did they find this? But yeah, that was funny.
It's out there.
It's
wow.
out there.
Well, another connection with us these days with the Rays is the new ownership. Ken Babby. His dad was general counsel for the O's for a while when he was a young lad. He said running around up there in the offices up at the Camden Yards. What's the building? The Utah, can't think. The Utah building. Anyway, he talks about that. There's everything I love about the Orioles. I mean, the park, my gosh, Camden Yards, the Orioles Park. That to me, that is just so cool. When I look and I see, and we had Janet Marie Smith, one of the architect designers of that, her and I guess Lucino kind of pulled all that together. But my gosh, man, you guys have such a wonderful park. Now, Matt and I, we have something, to look forward to. Hopefully we get Janet Marie or somebody like her to build something new for us in Tampa here in the next decade.
Yeah. What is the plan going on down there? What's
uh,
happening there?
Don't ask,
uh,
don't tell. That's the plan. The plan is don't ask, don't tell. We have nothing.
Okay.
What I told Mark in the recent post, I said everything is still on the table. We've been talking about this for 2 decades now, and it's every option is still open. They can go to Orlando, St. Pete, Tampa. There's no preference site. There's no agreement anywhere. There's just a
Really?
lot of hearsay and a lot of rumors and a lot of handshakes being given for not much return so far. So I think with Stu's energy kind of moved aside now, a fresh look at everything is gonna help them out a lot, getting better opportunities than they were getting initially.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Well, where did they play this past season? Where was that again?
they wanted to leave their mark on Steinbrenner Field, I think, and
Okay,
and so they
that's a nice way to put it.
I heard that they've left a few curses in there somewhere that'll only be vacated once they move to the Tampa side.
What are the season ticket prices now? I mean, are they? What do those look like? Are they helping fans out with discounts? And
I took a peek just at that because I've actually asked Mark this exact thing. How are they going to change the marketing? How are they going to work towards filling the trop? Are they going to open up the top levels, or are they going to close them off like Stu did? So we're trying to get a feel for that, but there's nothing definite yet. All I know is that there's more flexibility in terms of the family packages so far.
yeah,
And it seems like they allowed fans to pick up single game tickets earlier than usual. So other than that, there's no real indication yet in terms of there's no price hikes, which is a good thing,
hey,
right?
they're looking out for the fans. Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of season tickets, by the way, just to clear that up, when I was telling that story about my dad lost his, when you play for the Orioles, you get a back in those days, you get a free pass, like unlimited free tickets. Basically, I don't know if it's the rest of your life, but that's what he lost. And I just remember he was just so upset because, again, back in those days, you couldn't log on the internet and log into your profile. It's like when you lose it, you lose it. But that's what I meant about him losing stuff. And it just made me laugh thinking back in the day, like, yeah, that's right. You can't just open up an app and
Yeah.
let me just pull up my old profile. So I always remember him being bummed out. And when I started getting older, really interested in the Orioles, and he told me that story, I don't think I talked to him for like a week. I was so upset.
Oh gosh, Nathan.
But anyway, did you guys go to any Rays games this past season?
I did indeed. I went to like the last week.
Okay.
And it had been pretty hot, and actually it stayed fairly breezy around there. It was interesting, the vibe. The nice thing about it was a small enough venue that pretty well filled up, with the fans that were there. I think it was Puerto Rican night, and oh my gosh, I loved it. All the music, all the people in their garb, all the presenting Puerto Rico there.
Exciting. Yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic. And
That's great.
just real quick side note while I'm thinking about it is I went to see Tampa Bay Buccaneers play this weekend, my first NFL game ever.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, as I'm going up there on a couple of corners coming up close to the game, there's all these folks out there with Venezuelan flags, and man, they were just so happy. They were out there, just the pride of seeing some of these folks is just amazing. And then, and then getting in there. And Matt and I've talked about this before, Nathan. It's just like, what can you do to capture the imagination of a young fan and keep them coming back?
Yeah.
And we've had other folks on here. We talked about that with Jane Levy and others, but the stuff they did pre-game, where they involved fans with the players a little bit more, even some of the pyrotechnics before the game and through the game. They did a lot to make it an entertainment value above and beyond what was just happening on the field.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. That was the Panthers and Bucs game, right? Is that the one you went to? Yeah.
Yeah. And if the Saints had won, they would continue on, but that did
Wasn't
not
that
happen.
a weird scenario how that all works out? It's just so weird. It's the same thing as being a Ravens fan. We needed the Browns to beat the Steelers, so we all just were like, well, there goes the season. But then the Browns wound up beating the Steelers. It's just such a
Weird.
Weird season in the NFL, but wow, that's great. So you enjoyed it, I assume.
Oh yeah, is my wife's company had box seats up there, the suite.
Oh,
So while it's raining, I'm sitting there underneath cover with
oh,
window
that's right.
open.
It was pouring.
Oh, it's yeah. They didn't have it a game delay. It was quite enjoyable, and I'll probably I never really had any interest in going to an NFL game, but after that one, yeah, maybe
So you were
so.
dry as a bone the whole game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what they get right that MLB gets wrong?
What's that?
They have the Nickelodeon broadcast that they do for kids. And I don't know if you've ever taken a chance to look
I
at
have.
it. Yeah, but it's great. Like
It is great. It is.
yeah, it captures them. It's at their speed. It's at their
Yeah.
level. It's more, it's less. And I know they get a lot of the older players and guys that like to sit around and to go one at a time. And they kind of sit there usually in the regular broadcast, right? And they're all like, "Well, I know what I'm talking about. You know what you're talking about. Let's praise each other a little bit. Let's keep talking." That's not going to bring in any young fans, right?
Right.
That's an excellent point because it's true that's always been a topic with baseball of like their average fan age just keeps going up and they're like, well, we're trying to get the young ones involved. It's like, well, you're not doing squat to get them involved. Like, kids under, 6 years old, dollar hot dogs. It's like, that's not going to do it. Like, you guys got to figure something out.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Speaking of young guys, you guys sent the Rays a bunch of young guys.
Yes, we did.
For the second time, which
Yeah.
And I think I told Mark, I said, when we look back on the Chris Archer trade, everybody thinks, the Rays had a lopsided trade. I told him that the returns from this trade are even better.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No. Well, it's always so funny. Mike Elias was always getting hammered for holding his prospects. Like it was, these little bag of gold. Like we're always like, take a chance with your prospects for crying out loud. Go out and get some players. Cause there's some other trades where, look real quick. The example I always say, the Manny Machado trade to the Dodgers and all the prospects that we got. And I even remember there's Dodger fans going, oh my God, I can't believe we gave up, Dean Kramer's the only guy that has worked out in that whole trade of prospects. And he's like our number 5 pitcher on the Orioles. So, seeing the prospects that we gave for Boz, concerning, but I'm not going to get too upset about it because this is all what we've been yelling at Mike Elias to kind of do. Get out of your comfort zone, kind of get rid of trade those prospects. That's what they're there for. To get some players in to win now. And it's funny when he does that, fans are going, well, wait a minute. It's like, no. This is what you all were screaming about. Now that Elias says, okay, I'll get out my comfort zone. Don't start complaining. But yeah, the prospects that the Rays got. Yeah.
So with that in mind, though, my focus goes to, okay, first of all, when it says the Orioles believe Shane Baz can become that frontline starter. And I'm completely with them on that front in terms of stuff, right? And the second half, he started to show that. And if he's in the zone, he will be a frontline starter. I firmly believe that. He's just as tough to hit as anybody else out there. I think there's modifications in his pitch mix he needs to make and things like that. Mm-hmm. I believe the Orioles can help him get there. He's familiar with Zach Eflin, who they also brought back.
Yeah.
I think they do great together. He's familiar with Andrew Kettridge, which you guys brought back as well.
Right.
Like you're building a nest of guys that they're able to talk things through, right? And then figure 100%. Things out. Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk sinkers, you talk to Andrew. I mean, he's the main guy you want to go to.
Filthy. Yeah.
But Shane Baz, to me, has the chance to be, if he's healthy, a frontline guy, let's say number 2, maybe a really strong number 3, right? Like somewhere in there on a really solid staff for the Orioles. So he's also, though, in his arbitration years. So do you feel like at this point, if you're Mike Elliott, are you actually going through the extension talk and kind of delving into that just to show fans like, listen, we didn't give up these prospects for nothing. We're going to keep this guy around for a while.
Oh, I assume so. Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. And I think that was the plan from the get-go. And I agree with you 100%. Shane Baz, definitely, there's signs there where you're just, like this guy, he's the real deal. I mean, he hits 100 on the black. And yeah, there was, injury concerns, but if he gets going this year, oh my God, he's going to be just extremely pleasant to watch pitch for the Orioles. But yeah, I do. I think, we're seeing a change in Elias. And I don't know what it was before why Elias didn't seem as aggressive. Maybe he had some different routine he was trying to feel. I don't know what that whole was, but this is like a whole new Mike Elias and how aggressive he is. And the example you're talking about, Shane Baz. Yes, absolutely. I guarantee you. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They want to keep him around. And I think with those prospects, the reason why I gave that example, the Manny Machado trade, it was because anytime you're talking prospects, you just never know. You don't know. And I think that's what was so frustrating with Mike Elias. It felt like he was always holding on to these prospects because it's like, I don't know if he was convinced, like, they're all going to work out. These are our, this is our future. This is no, it's like, it doesn't always work out. So I just laugh with that Manny Machado trade when Dodger fans are like, we gave up who? And look, Dean Kramer, pitcher for the Orioles. He's the last of the trade that worked out and is still playing. So you just never know. So I was proud to see Mike Elias get out of his comfort zone to pick up a guy like Shane Baz. I was.
Yeah, I have to, the last time you guys, the Orioles hit 30,000 or more in attendance per game on average was when Manny Machado was there, and you guys lost in the ALCS, and Chris Davis was your first baseman, we're going back to that one. And Nelson Cruz was also on the team, which the Rays took a big shot on at some point. You guys also sent over Cedric Mullins to the Rays, not willingly, but I know he's beloved up there. People love him. I think Leodis Taveras was brought in to kind of replace his role a little bit with the team.
I have a different opinion on Cedric Mullins, so I don't know. You might be talking to the
let me know
wrong
what it
guy
is.
here,
That's what I'm asking him
Yeah,
for.
brother, sure.
Yeah.
Well, look, Cedric Mullins, man, he was such an up and down player. When he had good weeks, you'd think he was the best Orioles player you've ever seen, but boy, did he have some cold at bats. I mean, he would go quiet. And, I'm telling you, I always thought he was always throwing with his wrong arm in the outfield. Like, he didn't realize he was actually left-handed, and he's been throwing with his right arm this whole time. That always bothered me. And another thing I got to say, I don't want to go on a Cedric Mullins rant. Great guy, great player. Appreciate everything he did for the Orioles. But, all these highlights and great catches he makes, it's because he's like 5 feet tall. He's got to run an extra mile and a half to get to these baseballs, and so it always looked like he made these amazing I don't know. I feel bad that I'm sitting here going down a rant. I used to get hate mail every time on an episode I would start going off on Cedric. I just wasn't a huge fan of Cedric. He had one hot season, and then after that, it just was like, I don't know. He's just a frustrating player. It's hard to
put
the words in 20 seconds of what I'm trying to explain here, but you're just talking to the wrong guy if you want me to be like, oh my God, I miss Mullins.
But here's the thing. I don't think the Rays are going to use Cedric Mullins the same way the Orioles did. I think Cedric Mullins is going to play a role on the Rays that's going to be a lot more like Manuel Margot. They're going to shift him to right field, and they're going to ask him to cover less field, which in that case, like you mentioned, is going to make him a lot more effective. They just want somebody out there that can actually catch the ball and get to the ball.
Right. And it was frustrating because how many runners went from first to third, and they would look Mullins right in the eye as he had the ball. Like, go ahead, I dare you. And they would make it to third as the ball bounced 8, 9, 10 times, to the third base. It was just so frustrating. But again, I don't want to sit here and bash him, but I mean, he apparently he didn't do well on the Mets.
Right.
He had a tough go at it. And I don't know. I just think part of being a fan, you just kind of fall in love with a play regardless of how they play, and you're looking through the orange and black goggles, and you're not really paying attention what's really going on. So
I agree.
Anyway,
I got to ask you about another guy though.
Yeah.
Heston Kjerstad, what's going on with him? His bat speed is so low compared to where it used to be. What is happening with his profile, and why isn't he lighting it up now that he's MLB ready?
Yeah. What was that? Was the last part?
Now that he's MLB ready.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think it's just. What do you say? He's just struggling. He's trying to figure it out. I mean, there are signs sometimes where you're like, I mean, he did get hurt. He did get hit in the head. So he had an injury that he's been dealing with, a couple injuries, and God, I can't think off the top of my head he's been battling too with it'll come back to me. Now I'm starting to lose it. All right. Now I've been so focused on the Ravens lately in the past like month. I'm like starting to like lose all this important information I have to remember pertaining to these players. But I don't know what's going to happen with Heston. He just continues to struggle, and I think sometimes these young players, they get the yips, and they're not in that part of their career where they can get out of it. And I think maybe that's what he's struggling with. I just think that's part of the career. You get stuck in those yips, you can't get out of it. You're trying harder and harder and harder. It's just so pertaining to Heston Kjerstad, I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen with him. And I know that's just a boring answer, but I don't know, because it was so exciting when he was coming up through the minors. Just like, God damn, this guy's going to be our hero.
Taylor Ward's controlled for 2 years, right?
Who?
Taylor Ward. Is he there for 2 or 1 year?
It's one.
One. Okay.
I think we have him for 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So that's essentially buying Heston a year to figure it out, and then they can make another decision at the end of the year and say, you know what, if Heston's earning it, then they can give him another shot afterwards, or try to keep Taylor around. But yeah, having options. I mean, the Orioles. That's the thing. When I look at them now, with all the moves that they've made, I feel like you guys have set up, some time for the people that are in the minors to prove themselves and to really get at it in order to earn a shot in the show, if that's what they want, go in the season. So it's great. Like Ryan Mountcastle now is not asked to play a prominent role. He's basically a bench role, and he gets to fill in when needed. And so what happens then is the manager is able to put him in, at the optimum time. And that's the other point I was going to say. You guys stole one of our managers, so we stole one of yours.
There you go.
What is that swap thing going on? You got Craig, we got Brandon.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Speaking about Mountcastle, that's an interesting situation coming up in the season that's going to happen, because Pete Alonso, Kobe Mayo, we got Ryan Mountcastle. We're not going to say a player like Samuel Basayo. We're not going to keep him on the bet. Yeah, so it's just going to be interesting to see how they handle having 22 first basemen on their on their roster. I don't know. That's going to be interesting, because Kobe Mayo, again, he's another guy where it's just like, man, like I get young guy, just tough season. He ended the 2025 season looking sharp in the past few weeks with the bat, but I don't know. That's going to be fun too, to see how the Orioles handle that. So, but yeah, Ryan Mountcastle, that's a name I don't think we're going to see in an Orioles jersey much longer.
I agree.
Well, I was wondering about Brandon Hyde. You mentioning him. Were O's fans happy to see him go? Were they blaming him for last season, or do they think maybe it was more front office stuff? Or
say that again, Mark?
Brandon Hyde, with his departure, were most O's fans happy to see that, or they feel like the responsibility of what was happening this past season fell on him solely? How did that go?
I think the majority of fans, I'm going to say level-headed fans, they understand how sports works. I mean, you know what I mean? It's when a team starts doing really bad and you see patterns, and who's the first to get, the manager's going to be the one to go. I think it had to happen. When he first came in, he was just supposed to steer the ship while they figured everything out. And I was on board when they gave him more opportunity that next season or two, to say, hey, we appreciate everything you did. We'll give you another season or two. But there's writing on the wall. It was time to go. It wasn't like we were popping champagne and fireworks were going off or anything like that. I think we just all kind of looked around and said, yeah, it's time. I mean, that's what happens when you have a team that's starting to crap the bed. Typically the manager is first to go. I mean, they were trying everything with new batting coaches and all sorts of things. I mean, things were getting really, really bad with offense and the defensive stats and the pitching. I mean, it's just, what do you do? I mean, it's kind of the route you have to go,
Well, I mean, let's face it, the manager is a big part of the vibe that runs through the entire club. And that's going to be part of it. Yeah. I do want to reflect back on something we were talking about earlier, and that's trades. Matt, I was looking online the other day, and somebody was going on this same old diatribe Oh my gosh, they're trading this guy. We're trading that guy. Oh, look, we traded Longoria years ago. We traded Archer. I said, I had to interject at that point. Archer. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. You want to talk about getting something good? I mean, we have favorites we hate to see go, but we got rid of Archer and we got, let's see, Austin Meadows. And there's a pitcher. Let's see, what's that guy's name? I think he's out in LA. Oh, yeah. He's doing pretty well too. And then later on, Shane Baz was part of that.
Yeah.
That Delman Young trade tree is crazy. Like, because that's where it all started, right? It started with Delman Young. And when you
Delman
go
Young.
down that entire trade tree, like it's going to last forever. Because now we've got those 5 guys with Shane Baz. I mean, you're talking about,
Delman Young doesn't have to buy a drink in Baltimore the rest of his life after that hit in the 2014 playoffs.
there you go.
Yeah. Delman Young, goddamn. I swear I still think I watch at least once a week on YouTube that 2014 bases clearing double from Delman Young against the Tiger. I don't know. It's just that's all the Orioles have. A 2014 highlight clip. That you can tell you're talking to an Orioles fan when we're talking 2014 highlights. But
last time I saw Delman Young was playing in the ABL in Australia, and he was playing for I can't remember which team, Brisbane or something like that. So
yeah. It is funny every now and then. Speaking of Archer, what is he doing now?
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I hope he's doing something good because that guy had a rough trip over to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I know he blames himself a little bit. He came back to the Rays for a bit. He tried his best, and you could tell that he could actually, maybe hit 88, 87, but he just wasn't getting there. And it was a rough return. I could see him getting into some coaching things and then becoming a pitching coach at some point.
Yeah.
Like he put up some really awesome stats for the Rays for a long time. I think
he did. Oh, I hated watching him come to Baltimore. Oh, geez. I was looking at it, seeing if I could quickly see what he's been. 2022, Minnesota was his last time. Okay.
Yeah, the Rays like to send a lot of pitching over to Minnesota for some reason. They sent Todd Bradley there. They sent Joe Ryan. They have a certain relationship with certain teams, and if they're young and they're willing and able, then for some reason the Rays give up on them and send them to Mini. If they're old and broken, they send them elsewhere.
How do you guys? By the way, speaking of Rays fan, you guys obviously in the Orioles division. How do you guys feel this season coming in? Competing with the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
The way I see it right now is the Blue Jays are going to find it tougher to repeat than they think because people are going to be gutting for them a little bit more. And they're going to be banking on a lot of guys repeating what they did the first time. And sometimes that magic can stay. Sometimes it's a little rougher.
Yeah.
Springer showed a lot of cracks, and he's the heart and soul of that team to this point. Vladdy's, becoming a superstar right now. Like he's always been a star, but now he's sort of the drum, right? He's the Shohei Ohtani of that team, and that's great. I think, pitching wise, they add a lot of depth. I think they're solid. For them, I think it's just a matter of can they handle the pressure to repeat. They definitely have the talent. If they bring in Tucker, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, that'll be a nightmare. I tell you that ninth inning of that last game of World Series was the craziest 30 minutes of baseball I think I've ever watched. Oh my God. What a way to end the World Series. Good Lord. That was something, but it was a beautiful as an Orioles fan seeing Jeff Hoffman, right? Hoffman. Yeah. For Blue Jays. Saying the name, right? Their closer. Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman.
He was supposed to come on the Orioles. Didn't because of not passing the physical. Not sure if you guys knew about that. So they moved on from him. And every time he come in Baltimore, and he would close out a game, he'd blow a kiss to the Orioles dugout. I don't know if you guys knew that.
No.
Yes. He'd always blow a kiss.
Oh man.
And be like, see you later. And it caused a big ruckus. And then he came into Baltimore and we're like, well, he wouldn't do it again, right? Because did it again. So when I'm sitting there watching the Blue Jays, he comes out in the ninth inning to win the World Series. Oh, beautiful. to see that ball just take off over left field wall. And I don't know if you guys were rooting for the Blue Jays. I, of course, was not. But yeah, that was a beautiful sight. I just had to get that out there. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Miggy Rojas. Did you send him a gift or?
Yeah, I know, right? I think I did say a thank you on social media somewhere. Yeah, but that was beautiful. I don't know. I just I can never root for a team in the division that my team plays in. I've never been able to do that.
Right. I can see that. Yeah. I'm about the same way. I used to write about the Blue Jays way back in the day and cover them completely. And then when I lost my taste for them is when they basically put the stick in the spokes of Alex Anthopoulos when he had 4 million fans going to the stadium. And then they kind of turned the page. I kind of just split at that point and said, you know what, like this is not the franchise for me. I'm going elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But the thing with the division, though, is we're not done, right? You got the Red Sox, which made a lot of big changes.
Yeah, they did.
You know, the Yankees are seemingly
trying. They'll figure it out. They always do.
Yeah. They'll
Aaron
make
Judge is on the team, you know.
I just keep wondering what Cashman, you know, what does he see that team looking like? And, you know, there's a lot of talk about, we mentioned Kyle Tucker, but there's the other major free agents. I keep thinking of the fight back and forth I'm hearing between Mets and Yankees for some of these free agents. And I don't know what Cashman's going to do. I don't know what he feels like he really needs to spend to make that team better than they've been. I mean, I look there, I see somebody like John Carlos Stanton, and I'm thinking, is he still playing, or is this an old timers game that's happening today?
Yeah, I know. It's got to be frustrating being an owner and you're always in the top 3 payroll. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing your job, you're spending money, and then I guess you start firing your scouts and GMs, but I don't know. It's just got to be frustrating for them, and I don't feel sorry for them. Trust me, I'm not sitting here being like, "Oh, boo-hoo, Yankees." I just mean like, the Orioles fans were not used to being in top 3, top 5, top 10. So when you are constantly and you're not winning, it's just got to be a weird situation to be in.
They need their Joe Torre. And what I mean by that is that there's a sense of entitlement with the Yankees right now. And that comes from the characters that they brought in, like Jarrett Cole. They have a sense of we're supposed to win. You're not supposed to get in our way. And Joe Torre was the equalizer that kept everybody grounded and had that work ethic, going through. And so unless you have that kind of thing, and I think Joe Girardi, I know you got a lot of flack there, but he was that same kind of mantra a little bit where you had to earn it to get it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Whereas Aaron Boone is more of a player's coach. And I think that goes against them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you're going to manage the Yankees, I don't think you be a player's. You got to be that guy like a Joe Torre for sure to keep everything just even keel. I 100% agree with that. Joe Torre, God bless that man. Whew, what a manager.
Who was it? Mattingly that came after him, or with the Yankees?
I think it was Joe.
No, it was Joe, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, I mean, okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about playing?
No, I was thinking managing. I thought Mattingly was underneath Torre when he was managing at the Yankees.
I'm not positive. I can't. That. I'm not going to say gospel.
No.
Because,
I don't think Mattingly. Again,
Well, I'm more likely to be wrong than I am right. So we'll go with that average right there. But no, it is interesting because we talked before the show. I'm deviating here, but. Mattingly, it's been interesting to watch him as bench coach, with the Blue Jays, and now moving to the Phillies, where his son's the GM. And prior to the show, Matt and I were talking. He said, who really liked playing or working with him? And I said, who's that? He said, Bo Bichette. And so Matt was saying, hey, will Bo Bichette wind up with the Marlins? I mean, no, not the Marlins, the Phillies, maybe.
Interesting take.
Yeah, I think there's a chance, right? There's bonds and we talked about it because it happened with the pitchers that left Atlanta recently. Apparently, when they let the pitching coach go, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and they ended up going. It was with the Mets. the Mets pitching coach went to Atlanta. And so Edwin Diaz decided to go to Los Angeles because of that. Now, some people said it was Devin Williams' presence as well, but there was more also of that relationship with the Braves pitching coach after he left. And I think sometimes that goes understated. Like there's a work environment for these guys, and there's a repetition and a program and a lot of things they get used to that we don't even hear about, out in the open.
Boba shit.
Yeah. I think I still see him as a second baseman. So in that sense, it makes sense for the Phillies as well, because I've been trying to get him to third base with the Blue Jays forever. I still think, the plays coming in, he has a little bit of struggles with anyway, but that bat would be really strong in that lineup.
What a play. Yeah. Boba shit. Yeah. What I'd give to have him. Yeah. He's quite a player.
So what other than all the moves, like what have we missed? What have we talked about that gets you excited about the Orioles this year? That makes you think, this is going to be a special year?
I don't think I don't think the Orioles are done right now. I think it's just quiet before the storm. I think this is when, the owners or GMs and the free agents, they're playing chicken right now. I mean, we go through this every season, right? It just kind of calms out and everyone kind of waits for the other one. And then we see, I just don't think Elias is done. And normally when you would hear, the Orioles are in the mix, we always used to swear that Elias would just pick up the phone and go, I'm in the mix. Can you put my name on? I'm in the mix. All right, thanks. Yep, that's Elias. Appreciate it. But now when you hear Elias is in the mix of some of these pitchers, the free agents, Suarez and Valdez, you actually get excited because you're like, all right, he's in the mix, but I believe it this time. So I'm already excited. I know you asked what else, but with the Shane Baz and Pete Alonso and Kyle Bradish coming back for a full season. And I think Gunnar Henderson, I think is going to vibe off of Pete Alonso coming in that locker. I mean, that's the thing the Orioles missed out on a lot over the past couple seasons. They never, you could Santander, okay, but they just needed those veteran players. Like when things were not working out and they were having a bad month, like who was going to be those couple guys to really, get these guys moving. And I think, you put Pete Alonso in the middle of this order. I think a lot of these bats and Ward, and it's just, when you're going to see guys like Jackson Holiday and Gunnar Henderson and Cowser, and they're going to feed off of that energy and work with these veteran players, that excites me. And on top of that, the moves that haven't been made yet, because I truly believe in my gut that Elias and Rubenstein and Ripken, like they're not done. They're not done. They're going for it. Because when you see Mike Elias start giving up prospects, it's going down. Things are getting weird with the Orioles this season because that's just something that Elias doesn't do. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I can't wait. Although I said this last year, I said it the year before. I'm going to say it again. This year's different, though. No, but when you bring a guy like Pete Alonso on the Orioles and all these other teams, and it was interesting when he was – I don't know. I'd love to know what was talked about because in interviews, Pete Alonso said after it, he called his wife right away and he goes, "Oh my God!" He's like, "I this is it. This is it. Baltimore is where I belong." He's like, and his agent, I remember called Elias and was like, or who did he speak to? He's like, "What went on that? Like, you really convinced Pete." So he seems extremely excited to play in Baltimore, and So it's just I feel like a giddy kid. We're not used to the Orioles being in the mix of bringing on a big bat like Alonso. You know what I mean? It's goosebumpy.
When I look at your roster and I think, okay, like you're saying, let's say he's not done. Let's say they want to add one more big piece to really set the bar higher, right? The Dodgers always rounded out their rosters with guys like Miggy Rojas, with the utility types, the guys off the bench that add a little bit of depth. And so I don't know if there's a veteran that you have your eye on or anything like that. And I know they can't really bring in a guy like Brendan Donovan from the Cards because they wouldn't have the playing time to give him consistently. Yeah. So it has to be a guy below that level, but that can also move around and give him that utility, that heightened utility, I guess is the best way to put it. Because Jeremiah Jackson probably isn't going to be that guy that kind of does it for you, right?
Right. No. I mean, he can be an exciting player at times, but no, I don't think so. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, with the lineup that they had before Ward and before Alonso, we had a strong lineup. There was just something wasn't clicking. I don't know if the batting coaches, I don't know. Maybe years down the road, we'll hear somebody will write a book about the Orioles of 2025 and what happened. It's just they had so much talent and so much power in that lineup, and what's going on with Adley Rush, just so weird. So before these guys even came aboard, it should excite you. So when I say I'm hoping they add pieces, I'm actually talking about arms. I don't know if you need to add another big bat in the lineup with the Orioles. I mean, if they do, I'm not complaining about it. Lately, I've just been having my eyes on pitching, but I don't know.
I look at it right now. So you got Rogers, Bradish, Baz, Creamer, and Eflin. So you've got a strong five, right? And I think they're kind of committed to those five. So unless you're upgrading from one of those, like you're trading Creamer to get a Tariq Skubal or something like that, that would be going above and beyond what I think people expect. Like you're talking about a blockbuster like that would set the world on fire when it comes to Major League Baseball. But to expect it, I don't know. Like, do they have enough left to go and get that kind of move going with the prospects they've dealt? Like, they may have to take away from their lineup at that point.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting. They're already in a situation now where they're like, what are we going to do here? We're kind of things are getting clogged up. I don't know. With Bautista being out, Helsley's going to be the closer. I just, I think we're looking toward, when I mean arms, like this going in. Look, Trevor Rogers, he had the season. God, I don't know. He's going to have to pay up. I don't know if he sold his soul or what, but this past season he had was insane. I don't think he's going to do that again. If he gets even just close to it, I'd be happy. But I'm, when I'm talking arms, I guess I'm, thinking bullpen, because I don't know how Ryan Helsley's going to be in the closer role. And it was so upsetting when Felix Bautista, and I don't know if we're ever going to see him pitch for the Orioles again. Yeah. So I thought this season they were actually going to go out and get like a big, heavy closing arm, but I guess that's what I'm kind of interested in, if they're going to do anything pertaining to the bullpen. Because if they start with the starting rotation they have right now, I'm okay with it. Kyle Bradish, are you kidding me? Yeah. If when he came back at the end of the season after Tommy John surgery, he picked up right where he left off. It was amazing.
They can kind of wait till the trade deadline to make the big moves you're talking about, because then you get to see who's effective, who's healthy, and then you have a deeper system to trade from. Mm-hmm. So that might be the way to go, really. And I think you're right. I don't think they're done for like the whole year. I just think that they may be settling into the end of the offseason and kind of saying, okay, well, we'll see what else we can get later on.
I don't think there's I don't exactly. I agree with that. Yeah. Right. I just mean he's still excited because they're not dying, whether it's going to be a little piece here or a piece here. It's still just exciting to see them bring these guys on. Yeah. Just still till this day giddy about the Pete Alonso again, not only because of his bat, but just bringing in the veteran vibe in the clubhouse. And that's
let me tell you, I'm still very, very jealous, man. Very jealous.
We talked about it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, because we've talked about it time and again. Pete is from here in Tampa, as well as Kyle Tucker. They both went to Plant High School. I know I keep reiterating it, but I was hoping to have one of those guys here before this season began. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, Pete isn't going to be there, but we'll see what develops with that. But I am so glad to see him with you all. I saw a lot of the talk when it was announced that he was going to be with the Orioles, and you could see it in his face. It isn't just a man signing a contract to a team. He is excited about being in Baltimore. Yeah. And I wish that for any player who's looking at making a change. Sure. So I'm happy for him. And I think you guys are going to be really pleased with the season with him as well.
It's going to be a fun season. I'm really happy to see that Mike Elias is finally writing those checks that Rubenstein keeps shoving in his pocket saying, please use these, will you? So,
Yeah.
you know,
Let's hope. I'm hoping for you actually right now that he uses that money for extensions. Extend Gunner, extend, a couple of the core guys that you want to build around and make sure that they're there long term so that you don't end up like the Blue Jays where you lose one of them
yeah.
to the open market because you didn't sign them
No,
early.
they're going to need to be careful there. It's going to get interesting with that coming up for sure. So,
Yeah.
100%. And I think if there's an owner, again, he keeps saying this every year, and you just never know if it's the owners just talking, trying to get Oriole fans pumped up. But he's basically, please take my money. Let's win. Do what we need to do. So it's fun. This is real fun. It's a different kind of vibe being a fan coming into this season. So it's fun.
Well, I'm happy for you, brother. Nathan Andrews is with the Full Count Chaos. Man, I love your show.
Oh, thank you.
You're an enthusiastic fan and a man who knows the game and loves his team. And
thank you.
There's nothing flat about your show, brother. So Full Count Chaos, folks, check it out. Is there anything else you'd like to make sure you share with us today?
Well, no, I just want to, I know John Harbaugh listens to your show, so I just want to say, John, I hope everything works out for you in the future. I don't know if you knew the Ravens dropped him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heard that today.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Changes happen quickly at the end of the season, eh?
Yeah, they do.
NFL is
years to be a head
merciless.
coach. Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. Anyway, no, but thank you, man. I love talking. I could sit on here till midnight with you guys talking, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun season. The Oriole fans again are definitely gonna need it after that bad game the other night against Pittsburgh. So, looking for a fun season.
All right, brother. Matt, anything else you want to
No,
impart?
I'm going to say I hope I see 30,000 fans average in Camden again.
Oh.
I think that's so much fun to see. I've been there. I've loved it. I went there for the last weekend that Derek Jeter played. And so I was enjoying it. And I wasn't a fan of either team. And I was just talking to everyone. Everybody was having fun. It was great.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. And
Really
I think real quick, just a real quick piggyback off of that. I think that's also why I think they got extra aggressive, because boy, was that depressing end of July and August, seeing 7,000 fans in the stadium, and that'll bring you down to reality of you might want to fix this. So
you're completely right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so best of luck this season, and we'll talk again for sure.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Always have fun. I appreciate it. But no, guys, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm going to go heat up my leftover pizza and call it a night.
Enjoy, my friend.
Take care, guys.
Thanks again,
You
Nathan.
get Pete Alonso and pizza.
Yeah, Pete and pizza. Take care, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Special thanks to Full Count Chaos's Nathan Andrews for sharing his love of the Orioles and insights on the upcoming season for the O's. You can hear more about the Orioles from Nathan at www.fullcountchaos.com. If you enjoyed today's show, go ahead, like, and subscribe to Baseball Biz On Deck. You can discover more on Matt at matgermain.b Sky Social. That's Matt at matgermain.b Sky Social, or Mark at baseballbizondeck.b Sky Social. You may also find Baseball Biz On Deck at iHeart, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and at baseballbizondeck.com. Special thanks to XTakeRUX for the music Rocking Forward.